Thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. I've never been big into the idea of New Year's resolutions, but I do think there's a lot of value to be found in taking some time to reflect and critique in your last year, which can allow you in turn to take some direction of some steps you might want to take to make the next year even better. And you know what? I think overall, this year hasn't been too bad, especially considering the kind of practical limitations of lockdowns and whatever's gone on. But before I take you through any of the key points I've learned this year, let's go and take some photos, because the conditions today are pretty outrageous. It's very foggy outside, which is something which I've kind of been waiting for a while. There's actually a photo which I want to revisit from one of these videos, because I just think I can do it a bit better, and this kind of setting I think is what it needs. When I was a kid, I loved playing in forests and building dens. Maybe I loved the idea of escaping the real world and living in a fortress made of sticks. I think that's probably why I'm so gravitated towards photographing these tree houses and structures. It's this nostalgic desire to be a child again. For these photos I used my Fuji GFX with a 35mm equivalent lens and a strobe. And I think for these photos I'm really happy with the kind of look and feel of them. It's something about the combination of the fog with this dark, low contrast black and white is really doing it for me. I almost really wanted to push the limits of how acceptably dark it can be before it's edging on underexposed. Like this one of the woods, here it is at 3 exposure levels. Which one do you prefer? Because I'm weirdly feeling the darkest one. Anyway, the first thing I mainly noticed when looking back on this year, so I spent quite a long time burnt out from photography. Photography's been pretty much all I've done for the last 6 years. I'm either out taking photos, thinking about photos, making YouTube videos about photos, talking to my friends, it just doesn't stop. It was everything about who I was. It was my hobby, my spare time, and my job. And I think I just kind of reached the breaking point of just not really being that interested for a little bit. I think the main thing I've learned is that things are best in moderation. You don't have to have your life all-encompassing about that one thing to get good at it. And trying to find that balance, getting some more hobbies, and spreading out through some other revenue streams so that I can keep photography as something I do for enjoyment and fun. I basically think it's just all about balance and finding that kind of perfect workload where everything you do is fun, whether it's paid or not. And I think it's that balance which I'm definitely trying to take into the next year. Spreading out how I work and hopefully shooting some more passion projects. While spending that time burnt out, it allowed me to kind of think about what elements of photography I want to pursue the most, the things that I connect with. And I've definitely found that it's been portraiture. Getting to know these people, making connections, and trying to figure out how you can kind of transpose someone's whole identity into one single frame is just a super appealing task to me. Don't get me wrong, I still love taking photos of other things. It's not the only thing I'm ever going to do. I love travelling and taking photos of that, or just anything I'm up to. But I guess in the last year I haven't had much opportunity to do anything other than be stuck at home. So I guess I've just kind of fallen out of it a bit, and this is what I'm stuck with. So the final thing I found most joy with this year is creative direction. I've realised that the thing I find most fun is thinking of the ideas and building projects. And this means that whether it's me or someone else actually shooting the work, I don't really mind. I still enjoy it just as much. To me, it's much more about the creation than actually pressing the buttons myself. And something I really like about this is being able to work with my favourite creative people and hire them to make really cool things. And don't get me wrong, I still love taking photos myself and fulfilling the whole task, but I think one day it'd be super cool just to be able to think of ideas and hire your favourite creatives to execute them for you. That'd be really awesome. And I'm pretty excited for next year because I think this is only just starting, and I think a lot of doors are going to open within the next year, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to do some cool things, so stay tuned on that. Alright, why don't you leave me a comment letting me know what you've been up to this year and the things you've learned from looking back on it. I'll be reading them all, replying, let's have a conversation. And finally, I'd like to thank Squarespace again for their ongoing support of this channel and sponsoring this video. Squarespace is an amazing all-in-one platform for anything to do with websites. Whether you just want to purchase a new domain, maybe start an online store, a blog, or a website for your business or portfolio, you can do all of this and much, much more. Squarespace has an amazing variety of different themes to get you started, and you definitely don't need any prior web building experience to build a really professional looking website. You don't have to worry about coding or anything like that. It's all drag and drop and super simple to use. But if you do happen to come into any trouble, there is amazing 24/7 customer support as well. Having a website is vital. In this day and age, you need to have your own little section of the internet to put your work in and show it off to the world. And this should hopefully be the perfect place to display, I'm guessing, your photography work if you're watching this video. And what's really great about Squarespace is it gives you the freedom to display your work how you want to, but it also doesn't take much time to set up and maintain. This gives you less time figuring out how to code and more time out there doing the things you love. So if you want to get yourself a lovely new website today, you can sign up using the code negative feedback or by clicking the link in the description to get 10% off your order. And thank you very much for watching this video. Hope you had a good year. Hope you had a good Christmas. See you soon.